and I jumped in on BPM. Have you tried BPM yet?
I actually specifically, so I'm doing the roguelike kick, and I
Yeah,
decided to put it to like days of the week instead of like a month long because I looked at the list and the list was like 40 plus games.
right.
And I'm like, I don't think I want to blow my entire October and most of November on this. So we'll just do like Wednesdays. But I looked at BPM, and while it seems cool, that game is like the saturation on that is just eye searing.
The whole thing is kind of golden yellow. It's very orange,
Has like
orange,
one of the
golden.
weirdest palettes I've
Yeah,
ever seen in a game.
yeah. It is a bit of a strange decision. I don't mind it because it ends up like, it ends up being fine. But there is a aspect where that bothers me a lot when it comes to finding statues on the walls, because
Mm-hmm.
certain rooms have little statues you can pray to get power ups, and they're very easily missable considering all of the game's, yeah, like all of the colors just kind of blend in together. They don't stand out that much.
I really don't understand the purpose of making a game that is like this and be like one color.
Not sure. Not sure. It was, going for a stylistic thing.
Oh, somebody in the chat who I would trust their opinion actually points out that it's possible that they had a limited budget and bought most of the assets,
I
and
mean,
therefore the color helps obfuscate that.
perhaps. I mean, if you're going by things like the title screen and stuff like that, it definitely seems like, it probably didn't have a gigantic budget. But when it comes down to how it sounds and how it plays, it's very fun. It is like
How it sounds is much more important probably than how it looks.
the most
Actually,
important.
because BPM is bullets per minute.
Yeah, it ends up being the kind of roguelike that's almost like following Isaac rules identically in a lot of ways,
Mm-hmm.
where you drop
What
into
is that? I don't know.
a room in the basement and you see a thing, and then it's like, go in one of these four directions. It might lead to this type of room or that type of room. And if you get lucky in this type of room, you might have this little extra thing you can do or not. Or this is a door that if you go through it, it's going to cost you some life, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So as per the title, bullets per minute, it is rhythm as you shoot. So if you do an action that is not on the beat, it's kind of like Crypto the Necrodancer. You will fail to do that action. So you can move and jump whenever you want, but everything else has to be on the beat for it to work. And in some cases, if you do it on the beat or the half beat, you will get extra. So you can jump whenever you want, but if you double jump on the half beat, you can double jump. Right? If you dash on the beat, you can dash as many times as you want in the air. If you shoot, you gotta reload, and you gotta reload on the beat. And different guns have different reload amounts, I should say. And it's like the shooting to the beat is such a cool, satisfying element to it. But you gotta keep the fucking rhythm up, and if you don't got the rhythm, you're gonna have some trouble. I think that like it also, like games that require you to sync up with the music do need to have like audio lag options and things like that, and this doesn't have any yet. I hope it does get some, because I know Necrodancer again was able to, compensate for lag on different screens and things like that. Here you just kind of go right in, but I just played Rocksmith, so I do know that like lag is a thing you still got to worry about on modern TVs. If you're using HDMI display, it's not a problem that's gone away, So hopefully they add that in. But yeah, there's a feeling once you're in the flow, absolutely, of like emptying, every single bullet and then reloading with the basic pistol. It's 2 steps. It's bullets in the hand, slap them in the gun. Pop, 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 chick, boom, pop, 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 chick, boom, pop, pop, Then you get a shotgun, and a shotgun is going to have a reload between every shot. So boom, chick, boom, chick, boom, you know, like, and you can shoot less frequently, but if you're reloading properly, you get that whole thing going. And generally, I've gotten to try at least like 3 or 4 different guns now, and it seems like, yeah, the more powerful the gun, the longer you got to deal with a reload animation / the more steps there are to it, you know. There was a crazy really strong gun I got where you shoot it, you pull the trigger, and it fires a beat later. So you pull the trigger,
okay,
and it opens up, and then you aim afterwards, and then it annihilates with a hit scan, you know. But it's an anticipatory trigger pull. It's such an interesting thing, and like, it takes a second to wrap your head around it, but it worked. Like, I was doing really well with that gun by seeing a situation about to go down, pull the trigger preemptively, then move into position and take care of it. As the name implies, beats per minute, bullets per minute is yeah, every gun you get is going to have a completely different feel and flow to it. I made it to the second boss. I've done a couple of runs, gotten a different flows to it. Second boss, haven't beaten them yet, but it seems like there's about 7, maybe 6 or 7 different rooms and therefore songs you're gonna go through before you get to some sort of final area. But yeah, like I said, visually, you know, it's got that weird look to it.
There's a bunch of weapons. There's like 17.
But like, the flow of each gun so far has felt really cool. The dashing to the beat feels really good. You know, like strafing, and by the end you're kind of like you're having Doom-like first-person shooter experiences where, you know, you're really kiting a bunch of bullshit around a room and air dashing between obstacles and dashing over things, and you're going kind of nuts with it, you know. So yeah, BPM is really great. You should check it out. I went immediately. What's up?
I may in fact check that out.
Do that. And to keep that fucking high going, I went immediately into Ultrakill right after.
Man, I forgot to talk about Ultrakill like a week and a half ago, and I feel stupid. I was just thinking about Ultrakill where you're talking about BPM. I'm like, damn it. Talking about BPM makes me want to talk about Ultrakill.
How far did you get?
I got, I think, about 10 levels in, maybe 12, 13 levels in.
Because, so we pop on Ultrakill, right? And Hekita shows up. So, not unlike what you mentioned before when I guess New Blood came out to troll you. But the thing is that I gave this an earnest shot because I started BPM with the cube out with the mouse and keyboard going.
Right.
I said, let me try this. And I gave my first maybe 5 shots playing mouse and keyboard, WASDA, and everyone saw how utterly unbelievably bad I was at it. Like, not, it just, I couldn't play the video game. It was really, really rough. I kind of said, hey, I got this controller here. This is the back down in case it's necessary. I think I'm going to have to do this because otherwise there's going to be no content tonight. And I turned the controller on and you know, what happens, right? Immediately it's like, you fucking coward. And I'm like, okay, I get it. I understand, right? You want me to do it the way you do it. So I put the controller down and we went back in for more mouse and keyboard. So I think I spend about the first 30%, maybe 30% of the video of the session doing it pure mouse and keyboard. Went back in, gave it an honest try, did as best as I could. You know, I can survive if I like position myself in a way where I move into a safe space, stop moving, shoot at the things, and it just, The demands of shooting on the rhythm and dodging and living and surviving while also learning how to drive with the
BPM
keyboard.
might be a fairly extreme way to start that, but considering it adds another level of input complexity.
It does, and it's not a particularly easy game. Like BPM is, it's kind of throwing its ass at you because you start with 4 pips of life, right? Like you get hit 4 times and that's the end of your run. So it's asking you to be pretty good at first person shooters, all things considered, But whatever, I get it. It is what it is. I bring this up. I bring this up while I'm already putting my rolling my fucking sleeping bag under the bus. I understand what the situation is, but I'm just
where I get
letting
to live now.
Yeah, but I'm just letting everyone know that, like, I'm giving this an honest shot with mouse and keyboard, and it was unsatisfactory to me, to you, to everyone. It is painful to watch, and in the end, I'm like, let me just grab the controller, and I did, and then the game actually started, and then we were actually able to play and live and have fun. So, at that point, jumping into Ultrakill, boy, all I can say is, like, it's very clear the aesthetic and the mood they want to go for right away. Like, fuck you, hell is full, we're going. But the level of, like, genius design behind some of these weapons, dude, I was quoted earlier this year saying, I think Meat Hook is my favorite shotgun of all time. And the year is not even up, and I'm already recanting that statement. Do you remember the Meat Hook?
Is it called Meat Hook, or are you talking about the Doom shotgun?
The Doom Eternal shotgun that has a Meat Hook attachment.
Yeah, no, that thing's incredible.
It's sick. It's what you want your shotgun to do. Bring you closer to the thing and light it on fire. Why not? Give me some ammo.
What if instead you got a shotgun that if you pumped it too many times, it explodes and kills you?
Okay, but did you know? Did you know that the dash has invincibility frames?
I did not.
Did you know that if you pump the shotgun too many times and get the explosive shot and invincibility backdash out of the way, you can avoid the damage?
I did not know that.
So instantly, I learned that tech and was using it to mop the floor with, like, those skulls, for example. They go down like bitch if you blow them the fuck up with the overcharged shotgun, but you gotta dash out of the way. So now you start basically going for almost like plinked inputs where you gotta be firing in the middle of your dash, because if you start backdashing, let's say peak jump, you don't have enough momentum going to get out of the way in time. If you start backdashing and then you shoot, you will just get out of the way of the explosion and avoid the damage. And the damage is half-life, by the way, so if you do it twice, you're dead.
Oh yeah.
So that is, for example, an amazing level of tech that applies to the game right away. And the game is full of small hallways and corridors. It's full of very tight rooms, but you've got amazing speed and maneuverability, so you can be anywhere in that room you want to be within a second. You just have to have the control for it, So that, for example, is how you would use that shotgun. For me, it has every weapon in Ultrakill has a fucking style switch on it. So that's the secondary shotgun mode. The default shotgun is boom, boom, shot, right? Which creates a big bloody explosion and blood heals you like Bloodborne. So you want to be right up in them. The incentive to be close is not just because it's a shotgun, but it's also because that's where the blood is going to be to heal you. So that's wonderful. Second, you have a secondary fire on it, which is a grenade launcher, right? And the longer you charge it, the further it fires. So you get a pretty nice grenade launcher built into a shotgun, which means you now have close and mid-range covered. However, by any chance, did you happen to press the punch button at the same time as pulling the trigger?
I did. It's pretty good.
That was the moment I said, all right, meat hook, it was nice, but I think it's time for me to move on. And I turned back to look at the other shotgun walking behind, and I let go of meat hook's hand, because when you shoot the shotgun and you punch immediately after you pull the trigger, you punch the shells into an explosion that travels wherever your fist aimed it. So you can shoot punch to get an amplified shotgun blast that turns into a detonation. It's the raddest shit in the fucking world. It's so incredibly cool.
I'm kind of shocked that that's the one you gravitated towards, because the one that I personally found like the most impressive was a tie between the other two weapons.
Oh yeah,
which was a nail gun that is a more or less a machine gun.
Yeah,
but that you fire off bolts that magnetize, and then all the nails remain in the environment and fly around between magnetized points.
So
like, holy shit.
So style A on the railgun is what you just described. And the crazy thing about the magnetized points is they're mines that you control. So you deploy the mines, and you have as many as you want. You deploy the mines in the environment, and then the nails track towards them. So if you want to curve your situation, you throw it, you shoot the mine around the corner, run around, and then shoot forward, and they'll start tracking to that location. Whatever's in the way is going to get melted. At that location, the nails will continue to oscillate on the spot as a bundle, like a katamari of damage. Anything that touches that is going to take all the damage from all the bullets that are still floating in the air. Okay.
Yeah.
Now you have this katamari of nail bullets. That's just it's a yoga catastrophe, right? It's just like it's an orb of damage that's floating in the environment. Now we're going to throw another magnetism mine on the ground, and it will start floating and orbiting between these 2 points back and forth as they have
basically
equal
created
pull.
a tripwire.
You've created, it's more than a tripwire, it's a death field for whatever walks into that. So now you put down 3 points and it starts rotating in a circle. And now
I
your
also
brain
did the thing where I would put the nail in a big enemy that I didn't like.
Yes.
And then I would, as I circle strafed, I would just manage to make sure to get every enemy I could in between me and the big one.
Exactly.
So that it would just fire into them and then get stuck on Big Boy and then eventually explode.
And make no mistake, like the amount of time you spent spitting these bullets out, you're not gonna fucking lose it, because it took a second to build up that big damage ball. So now your big damage ball is your little pet that's gonna roll with you. So when the big boy dies, because he can't handle all those fucking nails, you make sure to spit out another magnet mine to make sure that the big ball of bullets always has somewhere to go. So you're not done with the room yet. You throw another thing out, and it's going to follow you everywhere you throw one of those mines out. So you're kiting, as you're shooting everything, you're kiting this giant ball of bullets around the room and swinging it into whatever comes your way. And like, I think you get like 4 points out at a time that it's going to start moving in between. It's unbelievable, and it's unlike any other first-person gun skill I've had to use in any other game.
It's pretty goddamn unique. Like, there's been a lot of good secondary fires, but that's just like...
Now that's...
It's out there.
Yeah, and that's just style 1. Style 2 is machine turret. Just overheat.
Do you want to put out a lot of nails right now?
Do you want to delete what you're looking at?
I do.
All right. Press this.
Delete
overheat. and it makes a little elevator beep, you know, ding. Very nice. And then I mean, it would be a crime if we didn't talk about the secondary pistol.
Yeah.
Right.
Which is probably out of all of them, I found was the most useful in the most situations.
Not on a controller though.
Yeah, that that one is a what I would call a controller antagonistic combat option.
It's so cool, yet so anti-controller in its design, because the secondary fire, it almost feels like an Overwatch ability, really.
Yeah.
But it's Aaron Black. It's what you're doing is you flip a coin out into the air, and if you shoot it, the bullet ricochets off of it into whatever is nearby, and the bullet does more damage. Okay, now you can flip 2, 3, 4 coins into the air at the same time. And as long as coins are out and you shoot one, it's going to ricochet between all of them, increase damage each time until the final one is a super shot.
Yeah.
So if you do flip coins between enemies and position it nicely, you can get that free damage as it goes from one to the other. But as long as you get that final one, you get big fucking damage.
So that's not even what I was using it for. I was using it for a situation that I can't remember a pistol ever allowing me in any game, which is when you hit the coin with your shot, it always hits the weak point of whatever's closest to you. Specifically, like,
yes, you're right.
You know, like a headshot or like even a bullseye. Like it's really specific. There are some of those guys, those melee guys you fight later on in Purgatory that are a lot tougher than everything else you've been fighting so far. And if the coin hits them in the face, they explode instantly and die, and you don't even have to fight them. And they chain reaction. But more importantly than that is that it's the only weapon that allows you to just run straight away, throw the coin out, and fire it at the coin, and the coin will fire directly behind you and hit weak points.
Oh, shit! I didn't even think of that. That's rad.
So
okay,
you're running
okay.
like you're in those situations where you're like, there is a lot of shit in this room. There's a lot of bad mans in this room, and I just want to run around and double jump and get away. But whenever you have the ability to like look straight ahead and run for like 3 feet, just toss a coin and don't even alter your aim. Just aim up a little bit and pop it, and
Weak spot.
whatever's behind you will just die.
Fuck. Okay. So there you go. Right. You got shit like that going on. Like there's skill to every style on every weapon that you can master, you know, and like I love seeing that potential right away with the guns that you get, and you get a fuck ton of them really quickly. You got like I had 6 by the end of that session. So then you just start looking into you start getting the mechanics, and like yeah, as I mentioned, the Hakita showed up, the dev, and kind of explained some other cool shit. Like you have a death from above attack, right? You can super drop onto enemies. Now, when you hold it, it creates a shockwave. If you super drop and then jump, you get a higher jump. But also that
I did not know that.
Yes. So you get like a boom, boom, and you super jump, right? So you can get to higher spaces. But the shockwave that you emit launches enemies into the air. So if you super drop, you launch the enemies with the shockwave, and then super jump above them, you're now doing an aerial rave.
Yeah, it's pretty great.
So you're creating this like ridiculous air combo situation. And by the way, all of this, and we neglected to mention that the game has a style meter.
Yep.
So you're styling on everything, and it's ranking you, and you're going from D all the way up to triple S, and then when you get to triple S, you then hit Ultrakill, and you maintain that fucking Ultrakill for as long as possible, and you have enough tools to do so. Unbelievable. This game is so good, and it is only in early access.
Yeah. How far did you get?
I got to V2.
That's exactly where I got to, too. And then I played for, I want to say, over an hour after that, and was like, all right, not beating this tonight.
V2?
Which is, yeah.
I beat him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I found some tech.
What was the solution? Because, to be fair, I was playing it at like 3:30 in the morning, and I was like, oh. But, John's, by the way. Yeah, so what I tried all sorts of shit. I tried like slide dueling him with shotgun.
You know,
I
it's
tried
funny.
running away. What?
It's funny you say that because like I actually was quitting right before that level, and then everyone in the world screamed.
No, the next level. Do it. Do the next level. Do it.
It was 12 something, and like we were dead because the AC stopped working.
Of course
like,
it did.
We were fucking dying, and I'm like, it's been a full ass like session. I can't. I'm so dead, guys. And they're like, no, you can't. You fucking can't. So I was like, all right, and we did it. And then like we were solving the puzzles, and we hit that little witness mini game. Did you hit that?
Oh man, that thing is way harder and more in depth than it had any right to be.
It was a real area of the witness. He just threw in a fucking witness mini game.
Did you find the horror game?
No. We just did the witness one.
There's a secret level in the first series of missions that is like a fucking invincible enemy runaway horror monster like survival horror game.
Damn, no, I didn't see it. But like yeah, so interestingly, you get like your first little rival battle early on in, and it's a really cool fight against, you know, the yellow guy, sword machine. And then V2 shows up, and you get this real ass one-on-one. And what it kind of came down to is if you lay in with the magnet railgun shots, it does melt, but he gets pushed so high up into the sky that his charged laser shots can't be dodged anymore, right?
Oh.
So you basically have to you have to switch between like laying in the damage, and then when he gets too high up, let him fall back down, and then use shotgun to point blank get some life back, and then punch shotgun shells, you know? So switch between those two essentially, and then like, but don't let him get his laser shot off once he's too high up in the sky, because yeah, like it just for whatever reason keeping him like fucking aerial raved just creates a situation that you cannot dodge from, you know? Unbelievable, really, really fucking sick, and that was like area 1-4, I want to say, or like 1-4. So early in the fucking game, you get this incredible thing. I don't know what the dev schedule is. I don't know when it's going to be out of early access. But right now, what I got was some of the most promising shit. And New Blood, fucking putting out something rad here.
I have to really give props to New Blood for every dev I've ever dealt with them, which I deal with them a lot more than I deal with most devs, in that I deal with them at all. But like I had a moment last week or 2 weeks ago where I was like, this mission runs like shit on my big fancy video card. And like the CEO's like, maybe your computer bad. And like, you shut up, you make your games good. And then I was later contacted by one of the devs who said, did this build fix it? I'm like, what? I was like, okay, I'll download this fucking dev build of Ultrakill. Be like, yes, this did fix the particle slowdown issue. There you go.
Okay. It's so interesting.
You're welcome, everyone.
Dude, it's early enough that there's no controller prompts or options in the game, but it does support pad. And when my turning reticle was too slow, I turned up the mouse speed, and then it turned up the
Yeah,
speed for
yeah,
the
that'll
controller
do
as
it.
well.
Because it's your mouse.
Yeah. Upon beating V2, he drops an item, like your previous boy did, and you pick it up, and it's pretty much the note that we had to go on, but you pick it up, and it's a big old robot arm. And when you press the robot arm, it does a thing that is very important to me. I'm a fan of a show called The Big O.
Yeah.
It's a really cool robot. It's a really cool art style. But most importantly, when the Big O punches you, it has a pile bunker like extension and release of a point blank shotgun like explosion from the fist. We've seen similar in the likes of Maxima from King of Fighters with the exploding fist punch. The fucking fist hits, and then a second recoil shotgun explosion comes out of it. Like, we're done here.
There you go, buddy.
We're done here. You know? So, I am blown away that, like, every single weapon has been utterly rad in the first 6 and then 7 that they give you, and it has great one-on-ones, great style, just a game loop that really is aware of what the style meter like exists for. If a style meter exists in a game that doesn't really let you be stylish, then it's just a bit of a fucking wank, isn't it?
Yeah.
Can you think of other games that have had a style meter recently?
I can't think of any off the top of my head, but my memory's a little shot right now.
A character came to League of Legends that has a style meter.
Oh, that's true. They do.
She has a gun and a sword. And I was like, oh, that's an interesting design. She's cool. She's ab girl. Let's see what's going on. And I don't know League of Legends well, right? So it's hard to really put together what stylish means in that context. But I didn't, like, is it just alternating between the 3 abilities that the character has that create style?
No, it's alternating between the abilities and actually hitting those abilities.
Okay.
Because in your MOBA, if you're actually like juking around and shooting the guy, you know, anything that's not instant target that has to travel at all, there's a high likelihood that the guy will also want to move out of the way of your fireball or whatever the fuck it happens.
Now, is there anything you're doing that is like risky but otherwise difficult with her that you would not do with regular characters?
I haven't actually seen any of her gameplay, so I wouldn't be able to tell you.
Okay. Because I guess I don't know enough to understand what I was looking at when I saw her style meter going up. So I was like, okay. I guess what I'm saying is I looked at it and I saw the gameplay and I'm like, it looks like she's doing what you're supposed to do in this game. And I guess as long as you do it, you know, sustained, you're going to get that going up. I feel, not to say that Ultrakill doesn't have that, but in Ultrakill, when you take all the things that we were just describing and you start piecing them together into a situation where you can skate dash into a room, punch something for blood, jump air, death from above, launch a bunch of grunts, super jump into the air, take a couple of them out, switch to the coins, toss a couple, bop, 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 punch shotgun, you know what I mean? And you just start managing the room in this crazy ongoing sort of flow to it. You're kind of like, it's the loop that Doom is asking you to do in Doom Eternal especially, but you can feel where the style meter is judging you and why.
Oh, absolutely. My favorite thing I've done so far in the game is using the coin shot to kill one of the melee guys that will explode after dragging them into the biggest group in the world. And they will chain explosions, and you go from 0 to Ultrakill.
So, I I got 0 to Ultrakill by hitting a room full of bullshit with the backdash full charge shotgun.
Yeah.
Right. That's another like example of that. For example, yeah. And also shout outs to your Ornstein and Smoke moments with the statues.
Well, I just had a thought. Is Tony Hawk the first character action game?